Hello guys, and welcome to another Photography Locked Down challenge. Photography Locked Down is a series of twice monthly photo challenge tutorial videos such as this one, a competition within our Facebook group, followed by a live feedback event on YouTube. If you'd like to join in and find out more, please click the link popping out above me up here right now. At any time during this video, it'll take you to a page of the website where you'll find out everything you need to know. This time we have been invited by Charity Alabare to join in a competition that they are running in support of homeless and underprivileged people. And I want you guys to blitz it. I want you to absolutely flood them with entries. So we're going to use their theme for our competition. We'll run our own competition, then you can join in their competition as well. Wouldn't it be awesome if a PLDer won the £500 prize and impressed the judges, Bette Lynch, David Noten, Colin Pryor and Tim Freeman? It would be absolutely awesome. So the challenge is, this is my hope. It's a tricky challenge, isn't it? You've got to really stretch that creative muscle. That is what this is about. What is my hope? Well, one of my hopes is that, the great forests of the world survive. I'm a bit of a tree hugger, aren't I? Which is fantastic. Now, I'd love to be in the Amazon rainforest doing this. I'm not. I don't have an Amazon rainforest. I came out here thinking we might have some pools of light in the trees, can probably get a great shot. As soon as I got here, it started to cloud over. We've got a few little light pools going on, but not many. Now, I've only got an hour or two to make you a little video to give you some tips and ideas and direction. You've got 2 weeks to really nail this and think about what you're going to do. Maybe go back and reshoot a couple of times. I would probably just do some ideas this morning and then come back another morning when the light is absolutely how I want it. That is how photography works. The hashtag for this week's challenge is appearing on screen right now. Please use that hashtag when you upload to the relevant album within our Facebook group. Please do not use archived images for this challenge. It kind of defeats the object. If you want to stretch your creativity muscle, you've got to work out with it. Don't just go to your archive and find something you think could work. So I'm going to go and have a walk around, see if I can find some ideas, give you a few pointers, then we'll look at a different concept. Guys, I have to get into your face because I don't have a camera operator with me today. So the sun has come out. We've got a little bit of light coming through the trees. Sun and light, it's hopeful, isn't it? Maybe using pools of light, maybe even including the sun into a shot could be a really great way to go. So let's have a little look at how you might go about that. There's a lot of talk online. Will the sun damage my camera if I photograph it? Well, I've been doing it for years. It's never damaged mine. Will it damage your eyes? Yeah, you be really, really careful. I use a mirrorless camera, so what I'm looking at is a little LCD screen in the viewfinder up here. I'm not looking at the sun as you would be with a DSLR. Use good quality sunglasses, squint, and with a DSLR, when you're doing test shots to get your exposure right, just don't look through the camera. Shoot from the hip with a wide lens. It doesn't matter. You're only just fiddling to get the exposure right so that when you do need to put it to your eye to do your composition, you're minimizing that amount of time that you do it. So let's have a think. Starburst, a very small aperture will give you a starburst effect. What sort of shot do we want? Well, let's have a little look. Let's get my screen out and see if we can choose something. Now, I'm going to shoot this way up, with the camera vertical, because I really ought to have a wider lens, but I haven't got a wider lens, and I want to do this in case we lose this light. So the sort of thing I'm thinking, I need to be on the other focus mode for video. There it is. Wide as possible. Yes, good. So let's see. Looking around here, you see we've got the sun coming through some trees. We've got a little bit of blue sky going on up there. I think I've got my exposure not quite right. That's better. I think that's better. Yeah. Now look at the sun down there. Now I've got an f/16 aperture. Can you see we've got this kind of starburst thing? As I go into the shade, it disappears. When I move more into the light, we start to get that little bit of starburst going on, sort of in this area here. Now look, that was quite nice, wasn't it? That spike of light. If you can find a way to find that, that's quite nice. Now, of course, it will burn out. There's nothing you can do with that. It's about finding the right place. Where could we go? Where could we move to see what would work? There, look, that was quite nice, wasn't it? If I can find that same little pool of light, You see how much work and effort you have to put into this? It's where you stand that's important, not the camera you use. Look, you see, that's kind of interesting. It's a little bit too blown out. I think we've got a bit of haze come through the sky. I'm going to go on the edge of a shadow. There's a big black shadow going on down here. These shadows will tell you where to stand. They in themselves are probably quite nice shots, look, looking this way. But anyway, our starburst, how do we do it? I just want to show you how to do that. You can bracket if you know how to do that. I'm not going to mess around with exposure bracketing. That's all in my Ultimate Beginner's course. If you don't understand what I'm talking about exposures and things, please take a look at the thing popping out right now, my Ultimate Beginner's course. It will tell you everything you need to know about your camera, light and composition. There's nothing more you need to know. Cameras are full of guff put there by marketing people. There's only about 5 things you need to know how to control. Learn those 5 controls and be proficient at them. Master those 5 little things. You can forget most of the rest of what's on your camera. Then you can do the sexy stuff, photography, looking at light, composition. So how are we going to set an exposure? Well, I'm going to do this in manual mode. Let's have a look through my camera. Now there's a really great starburst there. A small aperture will give you the starburst effect. How do you set the exposure? Use matrix metering all over the sky. This is what I do. Then look at your histogram and try and get it so that you've got a bit of detail in the shadows if you can, but it is going to be a U-shaped histogram. It's not going to go up in the middle. You want to allow for the fact that to the right side, the sun will burn out. The sun burns out. When I look at that with my eyes all squinty, it burns out. It's natural. You can't have the sun not burnt out. So let's see what we can do. So I've got f16. What is my shutter speed? Is a 2/50th. I'm on a 640 ISO. I don't need that. Let's take that down to about, I don't know, 400, something like that. We've got a lovely bit of starburst there. I wish I had a wider lens. Put that back onto single focus. See all these little things? Look. So if I shoot that there, we have got quite a nice little starburst effect. If I make the exposure darker, we can make the sky darker. We'll put the trees into silhouette. I'm going to make my aperture very slightly smaller. I'm going to go to f18 and just see what it looks like, you know. Don't be afraid to shoot test shots. I'm going to shoot it the other way up because it's a nicer composition. That is quite a nice little starburst effect going on there. That's quite nice. I quite like that. The dark trees, we've got that lovely starburst of the sun. The sky's quite dark. In fact, I may even have a go at brightening it up. You play around with these things. You don't just go out and go click and it works. Try many different combinations and scenarios. And I think we should go and try a slightly different scenario somewhere else as well. Be back in a moment, guys. Let's build on that idea. Look. In here we've got a lovely little pool of light. There's a bit of blue sky and sun if it doesn't disappear. We've got ferns, we've got a tree trunk. Can we do something with that? We've practiced, we've thought of a starburst idea. Now how about something else? Let me see if I can find a shot in here using a bit of this tree trunk, little piece of this backlit fern, some of that blue sky and the starburst. We can sort of stack things together, can't we? So, oh yes, the light on the fern is quite lovely. Can I get in just the right place? I might use this fern. I think it might be better. It is better. Oh, that's nice. Right, video, just for you. Continuous focus mode. Here we are. Look. This is what I'm sort of seeing. Look at the sun coming through the tree. Look at, you know, we've got our fern going on here. We've got the sun. I don't know. It's so hard to see because, of course, my pupils have got really small. But look how we're building on an idea we had. Look, as we go lower and increase the focal length a bit. Focal length is just the most wonderful compositional aid. It's about messing around, finding the right place. I think there's a better shot. I think if we could get this sun in that little blue space, it would be better. And I'm sure it is doable. It's just about finding the right piece of fern. I'm not sure. Can I put the sun over that side? Not really. Oh, that's quite nice, isn't it? Look, you see, as you move around, you find things. How about the sun coming through the fern? Now that's quite a pretty little idea. Do you see what I mean? Look at that. See how that just sparkled up and came to life? The more you experiment and spend time on your own doing things like this, the sooner your creativity will grow. This is how you do it. You experiment and you try stuff out. I'm going to take a couple of shots. I'll pop them up in between from going from here to the next idea I've got for This Is My Hope. Can you see these little pools of light on the trees coming through here? I think they look absolutely beautiful. How about doing something with those? Here's a little thing for you to watch out for on your camera, because your camera's an idiot. This is why you need to know how to do your manual exposure and how to think it through. Look, I really like these trees. Let me just get some video on the subject for you, if I can. Come on, camera, wakey wakey. Right, look. Now, you see the light on these trees? Look, we've got this one here. We got that one at the back, and we got this one in the foreground. I really kind of like that light on the trees. Now imagine what it would look like if we made the shadows go really black. So we're really concentrating on those rays of light, those rays of hope, because I think it'll look much nicer. Now you've got to be careful with composition here. Look, you see there's that pale tree right in the background? We don't want that there, do we? So we need to lose it. Tiny movement to the right like that. Boom, it's gone. Let's take a picture. Pop it back into camera mode, put the autofocus back on the right mode, and here we go. Now I'm going to set the exposure. I'm going to use manual mode, and I'm just going to set the exposure as the camera says it should be. So the light meter is on the 0, and I just really like these little pools of light. I don't think we need a lot in shot. Now look, this is what the light meter says it should look like. It's okay, but it's not very exceptional, it's not very exciting, it's not very inspirational, is it? How about if we push those shadows much, much darker and make the we make the whole thing darker, but let's push the shadows right down. Let's really concentrate on those bright highlights. How are we going to do it? We're going to make the whole shot darker. Now I'm changing my exposure, and the camera is going, Browne, no, you're underexposing massively. I'm down to almost what the camera says is 3 stops underexposed. Let me take that same shot for you. Oof. Don't you think that looks an awful lot more sexy? We've just kind of exposed, in fact we've underexposed the highlights and let the shadows go black. This is why you need to understand how to make manual exposures, because if you just blindly do what the camera tells you to do, you're not being creative at all. You are just the same as shooting in auto, it's just you're twiddling the knobs and buttons and not the camera doing it for you. Anyway, it's time to go and look at another little thing. How about a completely different idea of This Is My Hope? Most parents' hope for their children is pretty strong, and I'd say it's their greatest hope. I'm really lucky to have the Tansy family with me here, big time Instagrammers. They've agreed to come down and be my models because I know them, I photographed their wedding. So what I'm thinking is, let's use this same theme, starburst, sun, blue sky, hoping we have a moment before the cloud comes in. What I'm seeing is them, family, doing cool stuff, and see if we can get that starburst in behind. So the question you've got to ask yourself is, where do you need to be? Shadows. If those guys are up there, I need to line up with the sun up there. The shadows will tell you where you need to lay. So Jason's shadow is right there, where my foot is. So the shot I've got in my head is them throwing the child in the air, the sun, starburst again coming through it. Let's give this a go. Guys, can you do what we were doing in rehearsal? Yeah. So I'm going to try this, and then we'll try another idea as well. So I'm coming down here. Let me, hang on, hang on. Can I, look, you see this video? You see how that kind of works with the sun up there? What focal length do we need? We're not sure, but somewhere around there. You see that was cool, wasn't it? So now I'm going to use burst mode with a small aperture because I want the starburst, and I'm going to do it quick because I think we've got a cloud coming. Shall we go for it again, guys?
big laugh, okay?
Yeah, we just try hold. Yeah.
Here we go. That was cool, wasn't it? I'm coming back because I want to lift the sun in the sky. Can you go any higher, Sam? I know he's getting heavy.
A bit higher, can
Go on then.
Try hold him up. Just so do the knees down.
And 1, 2, 3, hey! I think we got it. On again! That's cool, thanks guys.
Yeah, no worries.
The fabulous Tansy family, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, thank you. If you want to find out about these guys, there's a link below. Go check out their Instagram. They do some really cool stuff. I've known them a long time.
We can try to again if you want to come.
Yeah, we'll do some more. Let's have a look at a different angle, but I think that is going to be the money shot. I'm going over here. Now, of course, you could do a shot just kind of, you know, looking out to sea, into the distance, crossing the ocean, far away. This is my hope. My son gets to see the world, all that stuff. Let's just have a little look at that. It's another concept. It's going to be so straightforward, guys. It really is. I'm going to pop this onto some video. Let's see what we're thinking. So, wake my camera up. Right. So look, you see, that's quite nice, isn't it? A small world. Now we've got to worry about that pole. Guys, can you go one side of the pole, please? So it's not sticking up in the middle of their heads, because that just wouldn't look good. Perfect! So you see, look, with them down there, now it's just a question of focal length. They're very small. So if we were to zoom in a little, look, you see, that's kind of nice, isn't it? I like that horizon, the way they're frozen against the sea. The pole is rather dominant. Could I lose the pole? I'm not entirely sure. But let's just take the shot, because I want to compare it with what we've just done. I'm not entirely sure that this will work as well as having the sun there. The sun is so aspirational and powerful to put that into a shot. What sort of depth of field do I need for a shot like this? Well, not a very deep one, do I? Because we're way beyond the infinity point of the lens. I'm going to go with about, I don't know, f8, something like that. It's a bright day. ISO. Oh, let's reduce that a little. I'm going to go back to about 200, I think. 500th of a second, 200 ISO. Exposure looks about right. That's pretty cool. Let's take a test shot. That looks okay. That looks pretty good. I quite like them just sort of climbing around on the rocks there. So that's cool. Can you get Jason in the middle? Huh? Can you get Jason in the middle? It's just kind of nicey, you know, supported by parents. I think that would be really cool. I don't know if this is going to work. Never worked with kids, obviously. I'm going to try it from here, that small thing. It's not working at all, is it? You just talk amongst yourselves for a minute while we wait. Can you get him in the middle? That's it, perfect. Looking out to sea, yes. That's really cool. Look, you see, something like that. That's a really nice little simple shot. And the light has played ball with us. I'm going to go closer. So, I know I'm getting small in your screen, but don't worry about it. I'm going to go over here because I want to see if I can lose that pole. I want to still want them against the sea. I can do it by turning the camera the other way up and giving them a bit of negative space. That's kind of cool. I don't like the cloud, so I'm going to extend the lens a bit and lose the cloud. I'm climbing on a rock so I can put more sea behind them. Hey! You get my drift, you get the idea. Thanks, guys. Those are some really nice little shots as we flick through them. But I think you're going to have to agree that they're nothing like as powerful as when you include the sun in a shot. By bringing in the sun and a starburst, you are creating excitement, aspiration. And it's really not that hard to do. Obviously, remember what I said at the beginning? Be careful with your eyes. A small aperture shooting into the sun. Always check your histogram. Make sure you've got your exposure about right. It is a tricky exposure, I know. If you don't understand any of the things I've just been talking about, please go take a look at my Ultimate Beginner's course, because it really will tell you everything you need to know. We've got great reviews on Trustpilot, and it's got a money-back guarantee. It's everything you need to know about your camera, light and composition. Boom, all in one place. There's only a handful of things on a camera you need to know about. So remember, Photo Lockdown Challenge has now moved to Thursdays, so every other Thursday. You've now got 10 days in which to shoot your challenge, so that gives you 2 weekends, because we close on a Sunday night. The date for the closing of this challenge is on screen right now. Don't forget to use the hashtag when you upload it to the relevant album. If you're kind of new to PLD, it's a community of awesome photographers learning and practicing and supporting each other in stretching their creativity. And the group is supported by small, regular monthly donations to keep it all going. So if you've just joined and you thought, you know what, this is great, if in a week's time you think you're getting value, please consider making a small donation to help us keep going. Link below. So anyone in this group will tell you. Take care, guys. I really look forward to seeing your entries for This Is My Hope. Really give it your best shot, because I really want us to nail it. I really want to flood Alabare with the most incredible number of entries, and I want a PLDer to win this. Take care, guys. You're putting a bit of good back into the world. See you later. All done, guys. Thank you.